Join the conversation in Tipperary. Contact us through Facebook, Twitter, or email tiptoday@tipfm.com.
Time for gardening, and glad to be joined in studio by Ultan Nesbitt from Arabon. Good morning to you, Ultan.
Good morning, Fran.
Thanks very much indeed for coming in to us today. You brought in some gorgeous stuff. The scent in the studio is just fantastic.
Really, at this time of year, it's lovely to have scented shrubs or plants in your garden.
Yeah.
And you see, it's very unusual to have things flowering in the depths of winter, really. And I think there's some plants that really perform very, very well at this time of the year.
Yes.
So we have a few things here, just in this little arrangement here. There's a lovely shrub there called Viburnum fragrance. Which has a lovely pink flower out of it, but there is a magnificent scent off that as well, because it is very fragrant. Even in the name it says it's viburnum fragrance. And then we also, a lot of the viburnums are quite good, because you can get the evergreen ones as well, which are particularly good, and they're great for hedging, and they flower at this time of the year as well. There's Viburnum tinus or Viburnum tinus Eva Price, and they're quite good for hedging. But it's lovely to have a hedge that's in full bloom at this time of the year, and that viburnum is quite good for that. And we have another thing here then, which is lovely as well, if you want a small hedge, but very, very scented. And I always say, this is great at around Christmas time, actually, and even in January, February.
Sure.
And up to March, it will flower. It's a thing called Suracoca confusa, which is a thing called Christmas box. And then this has lovely kind of creamy white flowers that come out of it. Now, they're quite insignificant flowers, really, but the scent of it is amazing. It has that really high scent of hyacinths off it, a really, really strong scent off it. That. So as your guests arrive to your house and they're walking through up a pathway or something, and if you have that as a hedge at either side,
beautiful.
You have that lovely, lovely scent off it, which really is magnificent. Another thing that's very good as well to have in the garden is a climber that flowers at this time of the year. And there's some lovely ones that flower. There's a thing called jasmine, and then you often have jasmine officinalis, which is the lovely white flowering jasmine that flowers during the summertime, and that's particularly lovely on a patio area as well. But this one is nudiflorum, and this is lovely yellow flowering jasmine. Now the scent of it isn't as strong as the officinalis, but nudiflorum is quite a nice winter flowering jasmine, and that's lovely to have as a climber in your garden as well. Other things then that are very good, and they're a little bit more unusual, I suppose, a thing called Daphne. And I'll just hand that over to you and just give it a smell of that.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful scent off it. For a lovely, delicate pink flower.
Tiny miniature flowers.
And this has a multitude of flowers on it at this time of the year, but the scent of it, so that's a lovely Daphne, which has a good scent of it. Another very good one as well is the thing called Hamamillus mollis, or witch hazel. And this is kind of more of a kind of a spidery type flower, I suppose.
Yes.
Lovely. Yeah, you can get it in yellow or orange, or even in a kind of a red as well.
Yes.
But a lovely tree that you'd have. It's kind of a small tree, really.
Isn't it? And it's so perfect in miniature.
Perfect little flowers out of it at this time of the year, but great scent off it as well. A lot of these plants would tend to release it in the evening time as well.
Yes.
So, I mean, they're lovely kind of evening scent off them during the winter months. So they're particularly good. Other things then that are very good, of course, I mean, are more shrubby ground cover type ones, which would be lovely, the heathers. And I love heathers at this time of the year. And there's different varieties of heathers that you can have in your garden. A lot of people would prefer the calunas or the thing called dubicias. These are kind of the more summer flowering heathers, and they're quite nice. They're lovely foliage on them actually as well. You can get the lovely kind of burnt oranges, or even a kind of a silver leaf on it as well, or the green. So you can have them in clumps, just even for the foliage itself. The dubicia ones, they're more acidic plants. We do have the ones, the ericacarnias, which are these ones here, and these have the lovely ericacarnias are more lime tolerant. So I mean, they can go. You don't have to add in as much ericaceous soil for the ericacarnias, and they're great ground cover plants. Yes. I mean, like one plant will cover nearly 3 foot. So I mean, really, you need very little of them to have an area of good colour, winter colour, at this time of the year. And again, heathers, very easy to grow. Once the flowers have aged on them, just cut them back, trim them back, and they'll come on again lovely lovely and full again for next winter, just to keep them nice and compact. Sometimes people don't prune them, and what happens is they get a little bit woody and open-centred. So by just pruning them as soon as the flowers has faded is a good thing to keep them nice and compact.
So to have these flowering at this time of year, then when do you set them?
You can set these at any time of the year.
Can you?
Yeah,
okay.
because I mean, these are quite easy growing plants.
Yeah.
They're really containerised, so there's you don't really get them bare rooted or anything like that. So you can sow these at any time. The only thing is really to water them well after sowing them. And I always think a general fertiliser, even the poultry manure fertiliser at the base of them, tends to give them a really good start. With the heathers, you can give them more an acidic feed, something like a sequester of iron, or even calcified seaweed is quite good for that as well as a powder. Other things that are very good as well for kind of like a bedding plant flowers, which are quite good, are the lovely violas. And I think the violas are particularly pretty. You have that lovely kind of delicate head on it,
yes.
which is particularly nice. And they're like little sunny flower heads that are looking up at you.
My colours are a little dodgy. What is that, purple?
That's a lovely purple colour with a lovely yellow eye on it. And they're particularly nice. And you can go have those in blocks of colours, and they flower right through the winter as well. I always think the violas are probably better than the pansies. The pansy tends to be a bigger flower, but it tends to get more damaged from, let's say, the wind and the snow.
Yeah.
While the little more delicate flower, the viola, tends to stay a lot longer and is more resilient to bad weather and things like that.
Are you always appreciative of the perfection of nature? Well, I think looking at this in front of me.
Yeah, and you see those growing in the wild.
Yeah.
You know, the lovely viola is a beautiful plant that grows, and you often see it in woodland areas. And I think the most simple flower is the most nicest, really. And they're particularly nice and very vibrant.
Yes.
These are lovely, then are the lovely bellis. Sorry, I keep handing you. Anyway,
no problem.
The bellis is the lovely bachelor buttons, they're called. And they come in a variety of colours, and you know they flower right through the winter.
Yes.
They're a lovely combination with a thing called wallflowers as well, and everybody loves the wallflowers. And wallflowers are quite a good bedding plant, really, because you'll have them for a number of years.
Is that what you have there?
Yeah,
now,
that's there. Yeah. And there's a lovely scent off that as well.
It's gorgeous,
and you can get they come in a variety of colours as well. Yeah, there's one called Indian carpet, which has several different mixtures of colours in it, which is particularly nice. And there's lovely perennial wallflower as well that you can buy, the lovely purple one, which is quite nice as well. The flowers right through the whole year practically.
Yeah.
So a lot of plants that flower at this time of the year.
At this time of year. Would you just remind listeners, you gifted me a beautiful flower just before Christmas, and we are just astounded with the way it's turned out. What is it? Amaryllis?
Amaryllis. And the amaryllis is a lovely large bulb that you'd get usually at Christmas time.
Now, when I took it home, it was just would you just describe what was there? Because it was really simple.
Well, what it is it's just quite a large bulbus. It's almost like a large a lily bulb, really, that you get. But this is quite a large bulb that you put into a pot and have the neck of it just above the soil. So and then this is a plant that you'd have in for Christmas, and you can leave it on your windowsill. But it's very important as well. As you see the lovely spears, these are lovely flower spears that come up. Yours probably had a double flower on
it. Did.
Yeah.
And it still does. It's absolutely astounding.
And it's almost, you almost see it growing.
Oh, it grew so fast.
Yeah.
Up about a foot. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Even nearly 2 foot. Sometimes it'll grow quite tall. But the thing about them is, as soon as you see it growing, it's very important to put it in full sun as much as possible.
Which we did.
And have it on the windowsill and keep turning it every day so that it doesn't stretch towards the light. Because sometimes they tend to get a little bit top heavy because the flower is quite large.
Yes.
They're almost like a megaphone, a flower, that has that large tubular type flowers on them. And again, you can get them in a variety of colours. There's lovely red and whites, and then even you can get a bicolour from them as well, with a pink stripe going through it as well, which is particularly nice.
Well, we were childlike around it because it was growing so fast, and then it became just so beautiful.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that the magic of nature?
Yeah,
I mean,
incredible.
to see something actively growing, and an amaryllis will do that for you. They are quite spectacular, and they're lovely as a gift as well.
Oh, just really, really beautiful, and we so appreciated it. I planted new daffodils last autumn, but they're not coming up yet. Am I jumping the gun? Is there plenty of time?
Oh, really, daffodils, it's amazing because the weather's been so mild that a lot of the daffodils are well up now at this stage. So really, there should be some sign of them starting to come up. Even the green spears should start coming. But really, it is early. So there's some varieties that are a little bit later than others. Like it generally tends to be the narcissi that flower a little bit later than the daffodil itself. So again, just be patient. Again, once you see the leaves starting to come up, just give it a little bit sulphate of potash just to encourage it to produce loads of flowers for you.
Okay, somebody else saying, my early snowdrops have started blooming, but they look like they're beginning to wilt. Could the cold weather be affecting them?
They do tend to wilt after hard frost, but they always bounce back.
Right.
It's a thing that the way they protect themselves. They tend to wilt in the frost, and it's the weight of the frost on them as well. But they tend to, once they thaw, they tend to come up again. Now, with snowdrops, they're lovely at this time of the year, and I love them in large drifts because they make a magnificent display. And there's nothing nicer after the doldrums of winter to have snowdrops coming up and seeing that active growth. It's a good idea is to lift and divide them every 5 years or so, and always do that with the leaf on it. So once the flowers have faded, I would tend to lift and divide them as soon as you can, and then put 5 bulbs together so that you get a good display, and scatter them in a staggered row.
I noticed some black spots on my hellebor's leaves. Is this a sign of disease? And if so, how should I treat it?
Yeah, with hellebores, the older leaves tend to get a rust on them. So it's a natural thing for it to get. So, but what you can do. And because at this time of the year the hellebores are starting to come into flower, and they're a lovely, lovely thing actually, another winter flowering plant, herbaceous perennial. So it's a good thing is to cut off all those old leaves that are on it, or the ones that are badly affected. So all of the brown leaves at the very base of it, and especially the ones that had a little bit of rust on them, remove that, because the centre of that will have lovely fresh foliage coming on it with the lovely flowers from the centre as well. So it keeps it lovely and clean looking as well. And it's a lovely thing to do as well at this time of the year is to mulch around your herbaceous perennials so that it shows them off an awful lot better as well.
My winter flowering pansies seem to be struggling with the frost. How can I protect them during the cold nights? So we've had a few of those. Yeah,
really, I wouldn't.
Would you not?
No, because really, pansies and violas and wallflowers and the bells, of course, as well. These are all kind of winter hardy bedding plants. So it's much better to leave them, let the frost make them wilt. But generally, once they thaw out, they tend to bounce back again. But you can give them a more like a plant tonic if you wanted to at this time of the year, just to boost them on a little bit. So the sequester of iron plant tonic. It comes in a little sachet. So put the sachet into a gallon of water and water that over your plants, and that will actually boost them and tend to generate better growth on them as well. It doesn't force on soft growth, because we don't want soft growth at this time of the year. So it just puts on good strong growth on the violas or the pansies and make them more vibrant in colour than through the winter.
All right, you might take one more for me if you would. My fruit trees have no visible buds yet, but I want to prepare for spring. I wonder when is the best time to prune them?
Well, this is a good time to prune them.
Is it?
Yeah. It's a great time to do them in the dormant season. And really, a lot of that kind of long vegetative growth on the fruit trees, you don't, it's kind of excess, so we don't really need that vegetative growth. So what you want to do is to promote fruit spurs on it. So really, from the main stem, 4 buds that you cut back to, and that will force it to produce lovely fruit spurs on it, and therefore you'll get a better crop as well. So get rid of all that vegetative growth, prune back to that. Anything that's larger, that's crossing over in the apple tree, you tend to remove anything that's crossing over, or even rubbing against each other, because you don't want a thing called canker getting in on the tree as well. So any of the larger branches, do prune them, but also put a thing called an Arbrex Heal and Seal paint on that, so that you don't get any canker affecting in the tree. It keeps it lovely and clean, and therefore it will sprout a lot better for you.
All right, thanks very much, Neil, for that, Ultan. That's Ultan Nesbitt, and Ultan is at Arabon Tion. I wonder, do I pronounce that right? Tion.
Tion, that's
Tion
right,
in
yeah,
Nenagh.
Tion.
All right, and if you want to drop in there, you'll be made fierce welcome altogether. Thanks for that, Ultan. News and information's on the way.
Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.